Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, joined once again by Rafael Conquista. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things. What have you been, Rafael?
Good, good. Yeah, beautiful. Busy, very busy, but it's good. And it's crazy out there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's always crazy, but we make sense of it, so that's good.
Yeah, very helpful.
So you had to add something on Michael Moses. So let's look at that.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen just to give people context and sort of a reminder. So let me figure this out real quick.
Yeah, we've got some great weather here in Lake Tahoe. Nice and sunny.
Beautiful here too. Temperatures are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys dipping down into the 30s yet?
Uh,
Uh,
we're getting
we're
some
getting some
feedback on your
feedback
end,
on
I
your end,
think.
I think.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Is that a little better?
Still a little
Still a
bit.
little bit.
So if you
So
got a
if you got a
phone on
phone on
somewhere,
somewhere,
Nothing on, but I just buried it. How's that? A little better?
still some,
still some.
yeah, it's real
Yeah,
bad
it's real
actually.
bad actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Give me real quick 1 sec. Okay. Nope, still feeding back here too. All right. So, yeah.
Let's now it's good. So whatever you're sharing there is like causing the feedback.
Do you think it's my screen?
Yeah, maybe have a microphone on or something. I don't know. Never happened before.
I know it. I've never had this before. Maybe somebody doesn't want to hear this. I'm going to try this. So I'm closing out some screens.
Let's see how
Let's
that
see how
is.
that is.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah, I'm even hearing it like from your voice as well. You want me to close out and come back?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
try
let's
and see
try
what
and
that
see what that
does.
does.
All right. So while he does that, there was some chat uh, before the show where uh, Michelangelo with horns means devil, but that was you're probably referring to Michelangelo or Moses's like there's like a sculpture by Michelangelo where Moses has horns on his head. Some people thought, for a long time, still do probably that's devil. That's the devil, and actually that is misinterpretation. So Michelangelo's sculpture of Moses depicts horns on his head due to a mistranslation in the Latin Vulgate Bible, where the Hebrew word for rays of light was mistakenly translated as horns. The artistic convention has already established the art before Michelangelo. So there's different ideas about the horns. We think of like the devil. In the ancient world, horns could symbolize divine power, authority, and honor, and were not always considered demonic. So over time, things change, and people get mis- misinterpretations. We'll probably see in the future of how people will look back and they will go, "Wow, there was so many people that had that Trump derangement syndrome, and he was like a very gifted and like Moses." Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's so that there you go, guys. But who knows? Maybe in the future, if I guess the liberals win and the demonic side wins, they'll go ahead and depict Trump as a demon. I don't know. So we'll see.
Oh, they already have,
Yeah.
for like ever since Trump came into the scene, into politics, that's all we've seen is just these attacks on him and his character. But one of the things that I felt like I saw, actually, as I thought about it, and I know I'm still feeding back, but when we saw Trump with RFK talking about that, when he revealed the autism connection to vaccines, and mainstream sort of twisted it into autism connected to the painkiller, the NSAIDs, like Tylenol. That was really a false twist of what he was saying and what he was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as I thought about that, so he presents this, he tells RFK on screen, national TV, all around the world, really. He says, I've been waiting 20 years for this. And then he reveals that there's no autism in unvaccinated children. And then, a day or two later, we see him with the CEO of Pfizer talking about a deal they made for drugs. And so what occurred to me, you guys, is this, and this. And I was thinking about, okay, what is this that he presented? And then what is this that he presented? And they both seem to be very conflicting. And so I was taken immediately, like I felt like it was the Spirit. He took me back to all the way to the beginning when El told Moses, here's what I want you to present to my people, this and this. And it was like, we've heard it as blessings and curses. So in Deuteronomy, he talks about how he goes in and he goes, choose this day the blessings, not the curses. But he went through and he detailed both of those. He detailed all the blessings that he wants for his people. And then he detailed all of the curses that he does not want for his people. And all the people said, don't worry, don't worry. We pick the blessings. We'll do all that you told us. Don't, we'll obey Yah and we'll follow everything. But then Moses says, but you're going to not do what you just said you were going to do. And you're going to get all these curses. And then I'm fascinated because then I went through all of the curses, Michael, and it was all fits like our 76% debilitating chronic illness that we have today. So this was very fascinating. So he presented the blessing. It was almost like this is what he was required to do. He couldn't cancel, he couldn't fire, he couldn't terminate in the legal dimension. The Pfizer people, the Faucis and all that stuff, because what he was doing was he was presenting the blessings and the curses. What do you want to do with it? He was presenting it to us, and we're the ones that have to make the choices. And it was like, I was going, this is mind blowing. This is like exactly what Trump is doing. He's giving us sort of the Moses effect. Choose this day what you will do, either blessings, i.e., no vaccines in that particular case, or curses, i.e., follow Pfizer, there's a contract, it's available to you, you can do it if you want, and there's the curses. And so I was like, this is exactly what he's doing, you guys, because it was confusing to me for like, wait a minute, he's talking about, this is really incredible. He just basically cut the head off the beast by saying there's no autism in unvaccinated. And then he's revealing this contract with Pfizer, and that's exactly what he's doing. You guys choose this day, blessings or curses. And I'm like, man, he was just pulling a Moses.
He did the same thing with the vaccination.
He did.
It's like here it is. We're going to get out as fast as we can because once we're gone, they're going to come out with the bad stuff. But you have the choice. And he was coming out, and I remember he came out with all these alternatives. And one of those that he talked about was how they could like insert like this camera, not camera, but like a little thing down the throat, and it would go into the lungs, and it would be like a what's the UV light, basically kills bacteria, germs, whatever. So they actually had something like that. So they made fun of him. Of course, that's what they always do. I talked about it on a show that I did, and I said it's real. It's actually there is you know, a little thing where they can insert it down through the esophagus into the lungs, and UV light and kill any bacteria, whatever that's in there.
Yeah.
And they took my video down. So they discredited him, took my video down when I exposed it, and then they came out with like it's a hoax. It's like it's you know, bad science and all kind of crazy stuff. And of course, we know the reason why that was, so they could, you know, kill as many people as possible and cause fear, so they get the vaccination out.
Right, right. And that's exactly their MO. They've been doing it from the beginning because it's the enemy. And so all they do is lie. But still, if we now, I think, I mean, this was new to me because I've still been kind of conflicted about stuff that he's doing. And now I see that he's just doing the Moses effect by giving us these choices. He's giving us the truth, and then he has to allow the enemy, because that's how it's been since the beginning of time. And so he reveals the truth, he reveals the enemy's plan, and they, of course, run with it. So once again, he's leaving it to us. And almost like Moses, most people, Michael, just chose the enemy. Like they chose the vaccine and they chose to go down that road, even though Trump was really saying, no, don't do that. Here's the path you want to take. Because UV light, I mean, it's incredible, and it's in the best water systems and air purification systems there are, even large commercial water purification systems. UV light. I didn't even know they had a tool that they could go down in your lung and UV.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So you could actually do that just with, you know, UV light to your air purification, and just breathe it in that way too.
mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yeah, that'd be great. And there's some people that do that. They have systems that obviously, you know, do that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty high end, but you can really you know, make your home like perfect.
That's right. That's right.
And water purification. So I always like those homes that are, I forget the name of the guy. It was like this one place in New Mexico, I think they were building these homes. They're like completely self-contained, and your bath water and everything, your waste, it went through a system, and it was reused, redone. It went through your plants, so you had plants that were out in a terrarium type thing. Everything was self-contained in this house.
Wow.
So you could really, you know, just completely, you know, isolate yourself, completely off grid. Crazy stuff. So
that would be a beautiful tool against supposed viruses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or toxins. And there's so many therapies today. You know, it's like we have such power wielding that we're able to, you know, take care of our own health as long as we choose the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And they still want to kill us. One of the things that Moses said that I also see Trump doing is he talked about the little mini list on the consequences would be like in Deuteronomy, I think 28, he said, your bodies will waste, your minds will waste, you'll have inflammation, destruction of the eyes, consumption of life, theft of your property, reproductive harm. And like everything that's on the list of our chronic diseases today, Moses put on that list as well. And I think I just pulled up Probably not going to share the screen, but I can give the link next time, where he talks about the trends in chronic illness among U.S. adults now by the CDC.gov say that 76.4% of adults have one or more chronic illness. And even the same is true now with young adults, where it's like 55% of young adults have chronic illness. And I see one of the number one things is, like Elon has brought up several times, like we're not having enough babies. So we're having like a reproductive, just reproductive trauma in our young people as well, largely because of the shots we've accepted. And of course, the connection to autism, and it's like a disaster. So we're living out the very curses that Moses talked about, that Trump is repeating. And he may not even know it. He may know it, but I don't know. You might know better that if he really is able to discern that. But Moses also said, Michael, that if you would consider, as he talked about all these curses, he said, if you would consider it in the end time of your days, he called it your latter end. So the end time of my people, if you would consider it then. And I'm like, this is mind blowing, because this is right now. And I haven't heard anyone talking about it in this way, but I think it's profound.
Yeah, and Lizzie Lou said, all this darkness brings balance in the world. It shows us where the light needs to shine more. Jesus' apostles were people who'd done bad things. There's jobs for all of us. So, so the apostles, pretty much all the apostles were killed, all of them. So,
Yes.
you know, we're kind of in that biblical phase where, you know, those of us that stand up to this evil and try and, you know, push the message of truth, we're a lot of us been taken down.
Yes.
And that's kind of, when I look at you know, the apostles, I see kind of a similarity. Now I was telling you that there's this little thing that, you know, I researched, where the apostle Bartholomew, who was at the Last Supper. So Leonardo da Vinci, of course, has the Last Supper painting. I'm going to show you guys that real quick. So it's kind of a little thread here. So here is the Last Supper, and that's Bartholomew right here. The bald guy on the end. See the two, you know, apostles that are like, they're having some kind of discussion there. Who knows what that's about? But then you see, obviously, Jesus, and this is Mary Magdalene. We figured that out over time. So it's interesting. It looks like her part of the robe has faded over time, but the red, and this is almost like the womb right here, and the blue. So we know that here in the United States we have Republicans red and Democrats blue. So this is a masculine feminine connection and also balance. So that's what we're seeing right there. But anyway, back to Bartholomew. So Bartholomew,
Fascinating.
he was skinned alive for you know, promoting Jesus, and I guess there was a king that basically decided to take up Jesus's teachings, and someone within, like a prince or something, in the family, was pissed about that. So they literally skinned him alive. And Michelangelo painted that on the Sistine Chapel. And let me show you that one. So Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, of course, everybody has seen that. It's quite amazing, beautiful. But he felt like he was kind of pressured to do that. You know, he's an artist, and they're like paying him to do this, and he really felt like he wasn't getting enough for that. You know? So
Incredible.
anyway, here is the Sistine Chapel, and you see the skin of Michelangelo.
What?
Yes. So here's the knife that they use to basically, they have a term for it, but they skinned him alive. And so here's the skin, and that's a self-portrait of Michelangelo.
What?
Yeah. So he you rarely ever see Michelangelo in a self-portrait. In fact, there wasn't any, but I guess there were some people that actually did, paint him during that time frame. So I can't really do them side by side, but just kind of remember what he looked like in that painting, and there's what he looks like there. So pretty much the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now another reason I pull that up is because my belief is that Bartholomew and Michelangelo were one and the same, were reincarnation.
Okay.
So he's painting himself, but these things, the reincarnation. Of course, the disciples once asked Jesus if he was like the reincarnation of some saint that was supposed to come in, and he's like, no, that's John the Baptist.
Right.
So they're all discussing past lives back then, but now it's suppressed. So truth is often suppressed in the areas that we would never expect it, and that's one of the things we're seeing right now with Trump. So he's bringing out the truth of deep state activity, how basically they've subjected the United States and the world to this slavery, pretty much,
Yes.
and try to kill us off with the vaccine, and of course with the bioweapon first, and then with the vaccine, which was far worse. And now they're still trying to do that, and we are trying to bring the truth to people, but yet, oftentimes we're seen as, crazy, and we're attacked and all that kind of stuff, and
Always.
if we're really unlucky, we're killed. So,
Yeah.
and which has happened to quite a few people that I've known and have been in this truth community. I've done shows with them, but yeah, they were killed. So that's one of the things that like Moses, he was basically giving them the option, just like Trump is giving everyone the option. You can go with the deep state if you want to. You can get the vaccination if you want to. You can protest with all of the people that are protesting against or for illegal immigration in these cities that are going crazy, like Portland and Chicago, LA. You can do that, but there could be some consequences for that, as we're seeing with the people that got vaccinated. They're dying off on a very, very high level right now.
Yes. Yes.
I
And
talked
that
about
is
that in a show last night.
yes, and that is one of the plagues that he talked about.
Mm.
At the end, he called it your latter days. Consider it in your latter times, and not just consider it. We're experiencing it big time as a pestilence or a plague that
Yeah.
you've talked about many times. It's going to be probably 20-25% just from the shot alone. Yeah, fatality rates.
Yeah, and so like they're the funeral home and the people that do the what do you call them, the embalmers. So
Yeah.
the embalmers, they're heavily suppressed. They can't bring out the truth. And I did a show last night where I had I presented this one guy. Hopefully I get him on my show. But I've tried to get the one embalmer right from the beginning, in the early stages, right after COVID vaccination started.
Right.
He was reporting there's all these white fibrous cladding that's happening, and everyone's full of it now.
Right.
And he was going to come on my show and talk about it, and he decided to back off because he's getting a lot of death threats. So he backed off, and so I had another guy from Canada, because they put it out like later. I was like, this guy was trying to reveal, I think this is really important for everybody to see this. It might help some people, maybe get some, beneficial stuff in their system to basically take this stuff out of their system.
Yes. Yes.
Like we constantly trying to do every week. So
Right.
so this Canadian came on, and I was like, hey, let's not show your face, let's not tell your name. And he's like, I'll be good. And so the next day he calls me up, said, can you take that down? I'm being attacked like crazy with death threats. And so I took it down, of course. And so now this one gentleman that was former military, he's done surveys of like embalmers, and they're coming out, as long as they get their name out there, and and so forth. They're coming out in big numbers now, and I think they're going to come out even more bigger numbers, where they're saying that, yeah, there's a lot of people now that are full of this fight and they're dying from it.
Yes.
And so he's like, well, if people are dying from it, wouldn't the doctors maybe be seeing this stuff too? Wouldn't they see some of this stuff too? And yes, because he had some people just like I did in the beginning that came and told him, oh, it's like it's horrific. It's like so many people are having problems with it, and we're like pulling it out of people, and it's like it's bad. And so this guy's hospital was like, you better shut up. So he's like, I can't talk to you anymore. So it's the same stuff. A lot of this truth is being suppressed.
Totally.
It's friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
If we could get past that, if we could let people come out and share their information on a more massive scale, then people would be like, oh, dang, this, I need to get on something and clean it all out of me, because pretty much everybody's got it now, thanks
Yes.
to that vaccination. And of course, he said, and we have that, and then of course I haven't even gone into the cancer rates that are skyrocketing, 25% more than they have been in the past, and the deaths of newborns and expectant mothers, because they forced the vaccination on them too.
Yes.
And that's always been completely illegal. You have to have a very long period of time before you subject pregnant women, and children to a vaccination, until you've done a long-term study of the effects that come. And we're seeing right now the effects are like nothing that's ever happened in history.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It almost reminds me, Michael, of that sort of that Moses experience where the pharaohs, one of the curses that Moses talked about was that your enemies will come to rulership over you. And one of the effects of that will be that the pharaohs said that these people are getting too out of control, i.e. Israel. Now I contend that's not the Middle East Israel that he was talking about entirely,
Right.
because he talked about your future, but he also, I would be remiss if I didn't share this, in I want to say Genesis 12 and then Genesis 15, when Yah put Abraham in a deep sleep, he showed him his future. He said, tell me if you can count the number of stars. Remember that? And Abraham said, no, there's too many. So I'm imagining this, where he then promised him that his offspring, his seed line, will be like the sand of the earth, the sand on the beach, the stars in the heaven. He is not talking about Middle East Israel, where there's what, 2 million? So even if you think that Middle East Israel is the only place where Israel is, there's only 2 million. And all of the Western nations, as we've talked about before, Europe, Western Europe, America for sure. Imagine that he sees 350 million stars instead of 2 million, or 350 million plus the population of Western Europe and Australia and New Zealand and everywhere that ancient Israel migrated to through the Caucasus, as we've kind of chatted about. So this is what he was talking about. And Abraham was seeing his seed line around the entire earth as a blessing. And so, but the curses, where he said that the beasts of the earth in his description to the, choosing the cursing, he said that the beast of the earth, the Faucis, the Gates, um, these are the beasts of the earth. That the World Health Organization, these beasts of the earth will be review of your children. And there's the vaccine that we're talking about, or there's the toxins in the food and the water and the air, and all of the ways that you pronounce like almost every week, every day. These are the attacks on us, and it's because of that we've disobeyed God.
Yeah. So every show we're having, unfortunately, people that have vax problems. So the vax, the way to get the vax out, we've talked about that many times. You want to go over that real quick again?
Yeah, there's a Vax detox down in the show notes. I think it's called, how to detox vaccines. So there's two ways, Greg. That's such a great question. I appreciate that. Because now it's been in for a while, it's in. So she still has to remove it externally, get it out of the shot site. The instructions for that are down below, where we show on a child the Vax locations, what product out of Michael's store to mix, how to mix it. And then internally, we've talked about that as well. But basically, we would start with the Intuistat and the Cardio NF. These sulfur-based molecules are really have a high affinity for a ion exchange. So they're exchanging toxins, but at the same time, they're beginning to dissolve the biofilm, which I believe is the primary delivery mechanism for all the toxins, the plasmids, the graphene, everything they put in it. So that's where I would start. And then for like respiratory issues, the Intuitive Ultralife is like, there's nothing like it. Has like 500 bioflavonoids that really help the whole cardiopulmonary tract. Super anti-inflammatory. They're just good for every cell in the body, but we really target them for cardiopulmonary in this particular instance. That's a good start. That's where I would start. And of course, everyone on earth should be using the Intuitive Ultra Cleanse Clay, because that will also bind to any of these ingredients that are in the shot. The thimerosal, the DNA, the fragments, anything that's foreign to your body that's not supposed to be there, it will bind because it has an opposite polar charge. It has a negative polarity, and they'll bind to the toxins, which all have the opposing polarity. So it'll start in the gut, go through the humors, which is where all the water, the ocean of the water in your body is, and start grabbing all of these toxins out of there. That's where I would start. And if you have any questions, there's an email contact. You can either email at contact@Oral Scans or at the one on the Michael Jaco site as well. Yeah, there it is. That's the Intuitive Medibody FX mixed with the oceans. So that video is down there, and I just walk you through and how to do it. Now, let me remind you, because I don't know that I don't remember talking about it in that video, but we've seen in the clinic, we've seen anywhere from 12 to 45 packs of that material to remove one single injection. Actually, I've had several people that had like 3 shots in one arm, and the knot is like as big as your thumb with all the meat in it as well, right under the skin. And it took 30 to 40 packs to finally remove all those toxins that just get trapped in that site, because the vaccines are like, they're this beautiful, for them anyway, what an amazing delivery system, because they completely avoid all of your immune system. They just jam it into your tissue. So then the toxins that Michael was just talking about, like the graphenes and the self-assembling like plasmids, the gooey toxic garbage that's delivered through the biofilm and the bacteria, they start assembling, and it's amazing that they know where to go, primarily the cardiopulmonary aspect of the body. So we need to like start breaking that down, and most of the stuff in the store will begin to do that. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just try to get a hold of us.
Yeah, great. And of course, you know the Lifewave, and there's also
Oh,
Lifewave
yeah.
link for Denise Love in the links as well. So Denise Love, maybe joining with her because the Lifeway products, David Schmidt and I, the founder of and CEO and developer of Lifeway products, basically we did a show together where we showed that the blood basically clumping, probably in the early stages of becoming that white rubbery stuff that gets in the veins and arteries and so forth. And so we talked about that, and he showed that how after using the X39, how it basically breaks it up and lets your blood start to flow normal again and get that oxygen to you. Now I've also seen, unfortunately, Raphael, that speaking of the biofilm, when you get the shot, the biofilm starts to form, and unfortunately for some people, as they're finding out, it's actually going into the DNA and corrupting the DNA to continue to create the biofilm. So now it's like part of your whole system. Is there how the heck do we overcome that shit? Oh, good God.
Oh my goodness, you just opened Pandora, I know, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad you did. Can
Oh,
I
good.
can I come back to that? I'd like to touch on the LifeWave for a minute,
Yeah, definitely.
because in so this was one of my my just big heart and like compassion, because I knew this shot was like a death knell for so many
Yeah.
people. And so I handled probably 400 cases of people that were headed in that direction. And so take, hundreds of cases where I'm getting shed upon. And then as I'm removing it with the body FX, it's coming back out. So some of it's reshedding. And this was Michael, this was unbelievable. I would get symptoms every single patient, hundreds and hundreds of times. Finally, I said, no more. You guys are going to have to do it yourself at home.
Yeah.
Um, but what we did with the LifeWave patches is oftentimes during the process, we would X39 or 49 right on the shot site, and then rub a little oceans either on the shot site or into the palm of the hand to help reconnect that electromagnetic communication, the electricity. Because one of the things that the toxins in the shot do is it first disrupts the whole biophoton communication, like it stops it. And so the LifeWave patches, a lot of times we would leave that on for until the shot was completely extricated with the muds and the clays out of the body. And at the same time, we're doing it internally. So then we would migrate them to X39 on cervical 7, and also at small intestine with X49. And that gave us significant testable, verifiable, like when we do the quantum forensics together with Michael, we could just see it raising the biophotonic energy of the body. And when that's raised, when the biophotons become coherent, the physicists have said that the healing capacity of the body becomes limitless. And so it's an incredible help. And even though I confess to be probably the one guy on earth that uses 2 or 3 patches a day, I've never felt any difference at all. And I strongly contend you don't have to feel it, you guys, because when I test it every single time without flaw, it's raising that biophotonic energy field of the body. Now, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say that at the same time, in 100% of our cases, we also add the EMF harmonizer because that's also an antagonist to our biophotonic field, our physical being, and it's wanting to steal energy from the Lifewave patches. We like to pair those up together, and we have a special on that, later also. But yeah, incredibly important for the vaccines because we're stuck with it now, you guys, for probably the rest of our lives because people are still getting it. The dummies that choose the curses, they're still getting it and they're still shedding on our kids and ourselves. And it's just a nightmare of the enemy trying to bereave us of our posterity and our love.
Yeah. So Sharon is asking bioweapon in the breath. So yeah, you're exhaling it and it's coming from your skin,
Yes.
everything. So
Yes.
Bruce Lipton, like I'm showing right here in his book, The Biology of Belief, he talks about how thoughts and beliefs can influence DNA and gene expression. So here we are, we're talking about how the bioweapon COVID-19 shot, and probably at this point they're putting it in food as they've been telling us. So it's everywhere, dropping it from the skies.
Yes.
It's just everywhere. Probably everybody at this point has been affected by it. So you need to have it. You need to go next level. All right. So the products from the store, epigenetics, and there's another one, Heart Math Institute. So I talk about all of these in my courses. But epigenetics is the field that provides evidence that consciously chosen belief, positive beliefs, and feelings can influence gene expression, impacting health by reducing stress and promoting the synthesis of beneficial hormones. So everything has a vibration. So you're taking in a vibrational frequency or using vibrational frequencies, which are canceling out some of this gene expression, DNA expression from the biofilm has been inserted and has compromised your DNA. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
DNA can be changed with your emotions and from which is frequency. So it can be changed with these products, and on top of that, your thought patterns. So Heart Math Institute, if you've never seen that, you definitely need to want to hook into that because it's basically talking about how your heart has a energy center, love frequency, and then your brain, where your pineal gland is, in direct communication with Source, God,
Yep.
who's a very, very high source of love energy, obviously, and influencing us if you're open to it. But if you're not, you're consciously compromised. You're not going to have any, connection to any of this stuff. So intentions can cause measurable molecular changes in DNA.
Yeah.
So intentions, proper food, proper, medicinal. I don't really think of your products as medicinal, but in some kind of sense they are. But they're much much higher frequency than I would say any kind of medicine that's out there. So, how would you describe it?
Because I love the light of the body so much, it's just
Mm-hmm.
lifting that light. But in its truest form, it would be medicinal. And the term has been hijacked by the corrupt industry
Hmm.
that they call it medicine, and it's not. And I've come to think, even Michael, as you talk about biofilms, that even all oncological diagnostics today may be one of the greatest false flag frauds in all of health history, where is your cancer diagnosis or even any of your diagnostics, are they actually what you're told that they are? And as you touched on the biofilm, this was the result of what Dr. Fleming said almost a century ago when he released penicillin as the first antibiotic. And he said, you guys don't ever use it. And if you do, it will become the death of man. So, in a larger capacity, this is what we're experiencing today. Part of the curses, because we didn't listen very good, and this is part of our health collapse and part of the curses, is that the development of the biofilm also in us, in a bacterial or an infectious situation, is now also combined with the injections, which have biofilm as their primary delivery. And they know, you guys, that there's nothing in medicine that can even remotely touch biofilm. And so they give you false answers like toxic superchemicals and other radioactive potions in the sorcery dimension to make us die faster, really. Um, and so, yeah, we're starting, Michael, to run from this level of evil.
Definitely. So, you know, a lot of the injections now, pretty much all of them, probably at this point, I would,
Yeah.
as we've been saying, highly recommend you don't get anything, um, any kind of injection, really. So,
Yeah.
any kind of, or you know, let's say you have what's that one where you get like you step on a nail and you like tetanus shot. So
Tetanus,
I
yeah.
I've heard from people. So I was like, of course you got to get the tetanus shot, and so people that were in the know told me early on, it's like you do not need any of these shots. I
Right.
was like, what? And it's like, and so a lot of people still are under assumption there are some shots you need that, you know, and that's just part of the conditioning that we've gone through. So you have to learn how to like, you know, move out of that because
Thank you.
it's like, I mean, there's still some basic questions that are coming up in the chat, and I'm like, I'm not even going to go there, you know. It's like, and so if you have to get yourself informed, and this is, I wouldn't say this is an advanced course that we're talking about. We've been talking about this stuff for years
Yeah.
now, but it is at this point, if you're still pretty, you know, not informed, I guess, on some of this stuff, you need to do your own critical research. So do a little, you know, pull up biofilms and whatever, and start to research and see how those are affecting. So it's a biofilm basically forms around this stuff, and it like we were talking about, it interacts with your DNA,
Yes.
and you continually start to produce biofilm then.
Yes.
So when you get infections, it basically forms around those infections and keeps them safe as they move around your body and compromises your immune system, goes around your heart, compromises the muscles around your heart, goes into your brain, compromises your neurons. It's a mess, guys. Eventually, it's going to take those people down that aren't, you know, detoxing themselves.
What you just described was, I hope everybody goes back and just watches that 50 times, because what you just described is sort of the mechanism of the biofilm in its relationship to every single diagnostic that you might receive. I contend maybe 99% of all of our diagnosis is based in what you just talked about, biofilm. When it starts mutating genetics, um, the diagnosis now is an oncogenetic, or a something that's sort of foreign. Your cells have become so compromised, so genetically changed, so damaged, that they've lost their early identity. So now they're in an identity crisis, and then it gets 1,000 different sort of C word terms, or hundreds. And actually, the World Health Organization, you guys, says that there's now 10,000 diagnoses. So this is what sort of changes our genome, is this process that we're talking about.
Hmm. So what's the last thing you want to like focus on?
Well, I'd
Is
love to
cancer
talk a little.
diagnosis a false flag killing event?
Yeah, yeah, I really think it is, you guys. And And it's like, as you were talking a little bit earlier, is when we stay in that conscious place of love, truth, not fiction. The fiction of fear has been lobbed over on us in this, what, in 1971, a guy pretending to be president named Nixon announced a war on cancer. And ever since then, the spending has gone ballistic, unbelievable spending. And our deaths have gone exactly where the spending goes. We're not getting better. We're dying faster with a lot of suffering. And so this particular diagnosis, um, I question whether it's even true, period. I think it's a false, completely false diagnosis. It's the result of something. And the result of something, the root cause is not something that's ever talked about. And in 97% of my cases, this C word diagnosis is connected to one or more infected root canals, crowns, old fillings, just old infections in the mouth, or like Michael said, ancient biofilms, 10, 15, 20, 30 years old from childhood that have gone unchecked, and they've accumulated fungus, candida, parasites, and all the toxins from the vaccines or all the toxins from life. And the body doesn't have the capacity to break into biofilms and to get rid of it all until now.
Nice.
Yeah. So, man, that's powerful. Love it.
Very good. All right. So, what else? What else you looking at coming up? Anything?
Yeah,
So
it was.
there's a lot of talk about October being Red October, and there's all kinds of stuff out there where the movie Red October, you know, that theme is running quite crazy. Juan O'Savin is talking about how we're in a window for some kind of major event. So you see anything?
Well, I think what I'm seeing in the prophets is that Trump's going to go back into the Middle East.
Yeah.
Iran's going to pull something, or Saudi's going to pull something. Somebody's going to pull something, and he's going to get really pissed off. And he's going to go in, according to the prophets. I can share the scriptures with you. He's going to go in with great fury. And it looks to me like he's going to put down the entire Middle East once and for all. So it's going to be really big in the next 6 months. But that's only beginning. So I'll finish what I see later. But that's what I see coming in the near future. And it could be that Iran actually starts something with an attack on us, probably, or one of our interests. But what are you guys seeing as far as in America with like the indictment of this clown? Was it today?
Yeah, today. So I guess it was supposed to be the 9th, and they moved it up. That's smart, because there's probably
Good.
would have been a lot
Awesome.
of crazies out there.
Yeah.
On the 9th. So yeah, they indicted him today, 2 charges. He could possibly get up to 5 years for each charge. So at some point, Juan O'Savin is saying it's going to move to military tribunals. So this is just basically the opening round, and then to get I think it's just basically to get people seeing that this is here. These people are going to start being charged, and so they're trying to see, you know, what kind of reactions coming from that, and then they'll bring them another one. We'll see what happens with that one. They'll bring in another one, and then eventually it moves to military tribunals. So the Guam, where I was stationed at one time, there's huge military base there.
Yeah.
Good portion of the island. Underground facilities, all kind of crazy stuff. So I think that that Guantanamo and maybe some other sites, we're looking at tens of thousands of people that will be military tribunaled.
So really, in that situation, there almost has to be martial law. What are your thoughts
Not
on?
everywhere. We were already seeing martial law pretty much,
Yeah,
and in Portland and Chicago. It's already in L.A. It's already
yeah,
moved. It's there. It's kind of not. You don't tell the enemy what you're doing. You're not going to broadcast it out there, but people can see that the military is going to. That's military. The military's involved. Military's on the border. Military's been on the border since Trump came back in office. So
right.
it's already here. They're just not advertising it, and it will continue. So people will get used to an area that's like high crime area like Chicago. I guess
Mhm.
1,000. I think 1,010 people at this point. The year's not over yet. Have been killed. But the Democrats are like, there's no problems here. Stay out of here. So there's you know, it's our government's duty to protect the citizens against foreign. So most people think that the military is like overseas and all these different bases and so forth. Now, Robert David Steele, when back in the day, five years or so ago, he used to talk about how the military bases, the reason why there's so many military bases overseas, is they're lily pads, hopping pads, for bringing in human trafficking, children, drugs, and all that kind of stuff. So the military, and I've been saying this for years as well, the military has been used to infiltrate America. So now we're going to start to turn that around. We're cleaning up the military. We saw Trump at that one big
Yeah,
event, and he's basically giving them marching orders. This is the way it's going to be, and you're supposed to protect against foreign and domestic. I
right.
was 45, 46, and 47. I don't like to claim 46 because it was a mess. Because we had that one guy that came in and with an auto pen was making some poor decisions for the not constitutional America, but for the unlawful
Yep,
corporation of America.
yep,
That's a deep state.
yep.
So that's all of that's being exposed. So you look at Chicago, corporate deep state city,
Yes.
corporate deep state state.
Yeah.
The whole state is messed up. Where
Yes.
you're at, California, same thing. Several cities are corporate deep state. L.A., San Francisco, San Diego. You on and on and on. So corporate deep state cities, all this has to be cleaned up. So it'll be military will be involved everywhere.
In the hierarchy of law enforcement, because sorry, sheriffs, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
But in the hierarchy, the people have the right and the power to go to the Navy of all entities. I want to say the provost marshal, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
it's the prosecution, the prosecutorial arm of the Navy. I'm sorry, I forget the term of it right now, but where that you ask for intervention in civilian matters, where you got guys like Newsom and these out of control things where we really haven't asked the Navy for help. But yeah, military.
Yeah. Yeah. JAG officers basically will
Jag,
step
that's it.
in.
Jag, yeah.
They've been, a lot of people don't realize it. It's been behind the scenes, but they have been forming an incredible number of JAG officers. So I mean, why? Yeah,
That's it.
there's something afoot. So
That's it. It's Jag. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, Judge Advocate General
Yeah.
JAG.
So you and I have the authority and the ability to petition JAG for intervention in local law enforcement where they're failing to help protect us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that's going to be. I think that at some point that step is coming for those cities, Portland, which I don't see Portland surviving as a city. I think it's going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Chicago. A lot of these cities are going to be destroyed because the deep state is just going to like pile people into there. That's going to be their last bastion of defense.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people talk about 14, 17, 19 different cities, which will basically be destroyed. I hope not. I mean, power of prayer, uh, President Trump, taking action early, uh, that's going to make a big difference. Who knows?
I think, Michael, maybe it comes back to what we talked about at the beginning, that it's choose this day. And so when we talk about the deep state, like, personally in my life and in the people that I love and have a relationship with, we're already in this process of repentance, like Moses talked about.
Mm.
You're going to have to repent at the end to get this worked out. Where I almost see still Trump saying, basically repent. And if you're not at the deep state, that part of that, what happens is in the loss of these 17 cities is potentially a world war and the result of us not doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Now in the Middle East, I think we're gonna like really shake Iran up
Oh
because
yeah,
Iran is the culprit of almost all of the problems in the Middle East. So I would have thought that when Trump came in and bombed the hell out of them, uh, that would have been the thing that would have dropped the Iranian regime, but it didn't. So at some point, it's going to have to be. They're going to have to exert more pressure on Iran because it has to be a regime change in Iran. And then, of course, you're going to have all those people that are like, "Oh, you're serving Israel and all that stuff." Israel is not even an issue, really. Uh, if the United States withdrew their support like they have for Ukraine, Ukraine is collapsing so fast now. Uh, once the United States pulls its all of it, because it's starting to now, I believe,
good.
pulls all of its support from Israel. So Israel still Israel for a long time, the Zionist that was basically deep state, bastion.
Right.
So now that it's been exposed, we're going to see it basically go away. It'll still be a country. I don't know if it'll still be called Israel, but it will go away at some point as being one of the Zionists, the Khazarian mafia's headquarters. So that they're going to be used in the end. It's kind of like that movie Hunt for Red October, where you have the Russian sub fires at its other sub that's trying to escape and go to the U.S. side.
Yeah.
So he shoots a torpedo. The captain of the sub, um, you know, points the sub at the missile or at the torpedo, and everybody's like, "We're gonna die," and it hits the submarine and breaks up because he knew that it took time for it to arm, and if he could get to that point before it armed, it'd be useless.
Right.
So we're seeing some of that now with Trump moving into some of these cities. He's starting to make them useless, and they know that, and they're getting very, very anxious and fired up. So
Amazing.
it's the same thing with Iran. So eventually, what happened in that movie is the other Russian sub basically made it so that when the torpedo left the tube, it was ready to blow up. It struck a target, it's going to blow up. So they had it so that it would like arm itself, so it wouldn't hurt the other sub. So it would, go off and it hit something before it got a safe distance away. It wouldn't harm the sub that shot it. So
Makes
now
sense.
this guy's like, I don't care. We're taking this guy out with his, he's trying to escape from Mother Russia. And so
Yeah.
he's got to be taken out. It was Soviet Union back then, so not really Mother Russia, but anyway, which was deep state. So he shoots another torpedo, and they circle the sub around, and they basically make it so that that torpedo hooks onto the other sub and blows it up. So the deep state blew itself up. And that's what we're trying to do now. We're going to make Israel blow itself up. We're going to make these deep state cities blow themselves up.
Right.
So that's the Hunt for Red October theme that's working right now.
Very fascinating. What an amazing movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
And a good, because it's being, Trump has been referring to those movies, and so has Juan O'Saven,
Yes.
who's obviously got some deep insights into what's going to happen. So there's that's a good breakdown for everybody. So a lot of people don't understand. There's lots of hidden meanings in a lot of this information, just like Moses and Trump, just like the horns on Moses' head. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's a devil." No, they misinterpreted that, and now that you know, it's like it can be a powerful thing to have
Yes.
horns. That's back then they thought that was a great thing if you had horns. So that's some of the exposure that were coming out. But some people are going to get stuck. Some people are still stuck to think the vaccination is great, and they're still getting you know uh, more vaccinations, more and more vaccinations, and they're having more and more complications. They can't figure it out, and the doctors can't figure it out. Or if they do, they're not saying anything because they get in trouble if they do lose their jobs, lose their money. So they're just like going along with it.
Michael, it's so bad. I'm probably not, we're singing to the choir, talking to your audience, your listeners, because I've been meeting with several of them, and they're on the ball. It's been a lot of fun getting one-on-one time with the people that are in the oral scanning, and I spend one-on-one time with them at the end of the process, going through their whole mouth in detail, making some suggestions and stuff like that. No, they're all very sharp and very compassionate and just great people. So I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But out there beyond our walls, like it's part of our mission to try to, wakey, like you say all the time, to get these people so they're not going to die. If they don't wakey, they're not going to make it. They're not going to makey if they don't wakey.
I was about to say that's good. I'm glad you said that. They're not going to makey. While the rest of us at some point will be celebrating, there's going to be a lot of people that don't make it there. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's a really hard curve. Waking up can be really hard, painful to do.
mm-hmm.
It's like dying. It's like dying to oneself. It's painful.
Yeah, there's all kind of things out there where you can have the little death. So I remember my first vision quest. I had the little death. It's the death of the ego. So that was very interesting. So I overcame a lot of stuff. One of them was just learning how to, like, you don't need to eat all the time. Like me, I was like, if I don't have food, I'll die. It's like it's dumb, you know. It's like you got water, you're gonna survive a long time.
I still feel that
Uh,
way.
and a lot of people do. So that's part of it. So you have to overcome that mind noise, and then eventually, like on the third day, it all settled down. It was like its little monkey mind chirping was like, it was gone, and it was
Yeah,
so peaceful. Oh, yeah. So that was a little death of the ego that I went through, and some people will never go through that in their whole lifetime, and that's sad travesty to me as well. But their egos will eat them up and kill them, and that's what we're seeing right now on a massive scale. The people that
yes,
get vaccinated, the people that believe that Trump is evil and is bad. So
yeah,
it's we
yeah,
can inform them as much as we can, try, and if they don't make it, they don't make it. It's just I've seen a lot of death in my life, so it is
yeah.
it's unfortunate. And usually it's because of your consciousness. All the people that I work with that were like dialed in, believed
Right.
in God, and believed in understood negative thoughts would attract negative things. In a combat zone, you can't be negative or you die, right? So now we're all in a combat zone. So all those negative thoughts, those people are dying.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, and
And
it's sad. I mean, it's sad. I saw many friends over the years, they had those effed up thoughts,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we couldn't talk them out of it, and then they was like, well, you can't be around us and have those thoughts and talk that shit, right? So you got to go work somewhere else. So they went and worked somewhere else, and they died horribly, horribly. So, um, so you can only convince people so much, but that little ego thing that's in there chirping away, I saw, like I said, I saw those egos, and boy, it's a vibrational effect,
Yes.
and
Like you have
it's
said.
affecting.
Sorry.
Yeah,
According to our beliefs, let it be done unto us.
yeah,
That is a scary reality.
mm-hmm.
Like we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during Moses' time, he basically said, repent like you're talking about, and they didn't, and they died, right, on a
They
massive
did.
scale in Egypt.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm taking my people, I'm out. You guys are all messed up. And then parting of the Red Sea, walk through, and Pharaoh's like, oh no, you can't get away. I'm gonna take you out. And then the waters watched the water, came back and went, go sheesh. And then they wandered, and he got he got the 10 Commandments once, and comes down from the mountain. And what's crazy is I've physically been to Mount Sinai, and we're like looking for where Moses meditated. So and I'm going to be part of I was part of a group that we basically anchored in some very positive vibrational stuff, and I've done that in many places over my life. But we're looking for the place where Moses was in the cave, and so we're like, we kind of most of us gave up, and I was like, "Where's Tracy?" And then Tracy comes back and says, "I found it." Some people can quiet themselves down and go to that place, and she does a really good job of that. Where there's noise all around, she's just like goes to that place, and I try and stay in that place, but I'm not always successful. But uh, I can tell you, if you're not in some kind of like quiet place in your mind, if you're always chirp 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 monkey mind, that's not going to work for you real good during this time frame, because we're at war, like I said, and there's going to be a lot of people lost in this war, and already have been.
Good word, and she's so good at like seeing it in everything right away.
Yep. Yeah. So, and Moses got mad. He came back, and they chose to like go back to the old ways, and made the golden calf again. Worshiping. Like what we see now, the wokesters, worshiping false gods and all kind of crazy stuff, and it's like like
And they all died.
threw the commandments at them, and then had to go back and do another 40 days and 40 nights of fasting. Oh my God, back to back. That must have been tough. I the most I've done, I think I've done 10 or 11 days. Boy, but I guess once you get past a certain level, it's easier. But I was like, wow, it's tough. But the first, like I said, my first fasting was like, that was the worst. And after that, it was easy. I fast every day now. It's no big deal. And some days I just do a day fast.
Right.
So
Right.
I do that intermittent fasting. So my foods, I do the opposite what most people eat.
Yeah.
They eat like you know uh, 16, 18 hours a day. I only eat 8. So in that time frame, and it's
Awesome.
very very lean. What I eat, it's very healthy, as healthy as I can get it. But of course, I eat well. And my lovely Tracy I was like, "What do you want for tonight?" And I was like, "Steak and potato." So she took out some steak. We're gonna have steak tonight. So you eat
I'll be there.
well. Yeah, we're close enough, right? You might be able to make it. So it's yeah. Janet says from darkness to light. So that's where we're at
Good word,
right
Janet.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're Your supplements make a difference. Right now, there's 444 likes. Good number. Angelic. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll see you guys next time. Always a very interesting conversation here on Wednesdays. So
Awesome. Love y'all.